Bible Answers with Dr. Al Garza.
All right, welcome back to Bible Answers. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to be talking about a common question that I get regarding marriage and man and woman in relationship with God, and how does that relate to today, and how do we know that this is what God intended from the beginning in relationship to man and woman and God being in that marriage. Now, there are a number of ways we're going to look at this. I'm going to look at this strictly from the Hebrew. I'm going to break this down for you from the Hebrew language, because this isn't new, what I'm about to show you in regards to what the Hebrew really means. I'm going to take it to another level that any real Hebrew scholar or even an Orthodox Jewish rabbi or Messianic Jewish rabbi can tell you what I'm about to show you. There are a lot of materials out there and books you can look at to confirm what I'm saying. But I'm going to show you how God truly intended man and woman to be as husband and wife. When God created man, he took out of man a part of him, and then he formed the woman and made him a woman for companionship, for him to be a helper, to be a mate, someone to watch his back, as the Hebrew says. So when we forget where woman came from out of man. Now, God didn't form a woman separately in a separate dirt or separate clay. He could have done that, but they wouldn't be one flesh, as the Hebrew says. So God took out of man and then formed a woman so they can be united as one flesh. So he didn't form her separately, which he could have done. So this is the importance of why we need to keep God focused in our marriage in all things and in all areas, and not forget where we came from within God, and how God, formed us to be in a relationship with him in the marriage of a husband and wife, or man and woman. Now, the Hebrew for, of course, man is ish, and the isha is for woman. And we know this from just one Hebrew letter difference, and I'll show you this in a minute. And then, of course, we're going to look at what happens when we remove God out of the name of man and woman, or remove God out of man and woman. What is left? And what is the significance of this? So let's take a look at this. I'm going to try and show you this and make it easy for you to understand. So I decided to write this and print it out for you. So if we look at here, if you can see, we have, of course, ish, that's for man, and isha, that's for woman. Now, if you look at the highlighted yellow, that shows that those are the same Hebrew letters that help form ish and isha. And, of course, the red is the only difference, the yod and the hey. Now, each letter, the yod and the hey and the red, is what we call, the part of the tetragrammaton, the name of God, Yod, He, Vav, He. And each letter by themselves can represent the name of God, can represent God himself. And sometimes Hebrew scribes or rabbis will just write the Yod or the He, or even these two combined, Yah, instead of writing out the whole name. So we know that each letter here represents the name of God and represents God himself. And as you can see, we have Ish and Isha both having one of the letters. Now, this Hebrew hey here, when used with other Hebrew words, represents the feminine form. So, of course, we have woman as Isha, represented by the hey, which again makes it feminine. And we have, of course, the yod for Ish. Now, this is what happens when we decide to take out both of these letters. We're only left with the aleph and the shin. Now, that forms the word esh. Now, esh in Hebrew literally means fire. And what does fire do? Fire devours. It's destructive. It destroys. So when we remove God out of Ish and Isha, the two letters that represent who he is in his name, we're left with fire, destruction, destroyed. So when we see man and woman who don't have God in their relationship as husband and wife, we will see a lot of destruction, chaos, fire, turmoil in that relationship. And this is the reason why. We need to put God back in. We need to bring the yod and the hey back into the man and woman as husband and wife, and become the ish and isha under God. And therefore we can get rid of the fire of destruction. When we move away from that in our relationship, that's what we're left with. So we need to understand that this is important, because when we take our wedding vows and we look at, we talk about God in our marriage and all these things, make this commitment, it's because this is what we form. We have God, we should have God here, man, woman, ish, isha, and then fire if it's left alone. And this is where we get, even if you bring two men together, people want to say two men or two women are in love. Well, that's two fires that are forming here. Esh and Esh, two, either male or female. It's a double destruction, a double chaos, double fire. It is double burning. So when Paul speaks of this, Shaul Paul speaks in Romans about the man and the woman in Romans, I believe it's from Romans 2, talking about the lust of the flesh, the burning desire within that got us to turn them over to their desires, their burning desires. The burning is reflective of what the fire is. The fire of a burning or yearning between something that's not natural. So we're left with double fire, a double dose of a destruction. So this is why man and woman were formed to be together with the Yod and the Hey, Ish and Isha, and when you remove them, that is what you have. So this is how we view marriage. This is how we see man and woman together in the biblical understanding of how God created them. So this is why it's important that we got to keep this understanding and teach others that we recognize why God formed man and took out of him and formed woman to be one flesh under God. So without him, we don't have anything but fire, destruction, chaos. And that's what fire does. So I hope this helps. I hope maybe this gives some insight to the relationship between man and woman and God and creation. And if you have any questions, please leave them here. Like, share, subscribe, share this with everybody you want. Subscribe to the channel. And again, if you have a question or a comment, please leave them here. I'll be glad to answer them or send me an email. So I want to say thank you again and God bless.
Bible Answers with Dr. Al Garza.